Hi friends, it's Jenny, and I have a confession to make. I have good reasons for being behind on the Gemstone Orphanage Stash Challenge that they have over in their Facebook group. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but I'm behind. I had a lot going on this month, just to be fair. Like, I had the trip to Becky's and the big sale that we went to and our celebration that we're getting ready for and putting together the bundles for Saturday and just all the things going on. And by the way, if any of that sounds like, wait, what is this? Make sure you go and check out our channel, check out our upcoming live, which hopefully will get scheduled by the time that this video airs. But yeah, we have a lot going on. So I have been busy. But I usually participate in this stash challenge. It's one of the things that I love about Gemstone Orphanage is that in their Facebook group, they have a monthly stash challenge. I love seeing a company that wants to sell you new beads say, hey, dig in your stash and make something great. And here's some idea. There's no requirement to use their beads or anything like that. They're like, make from your stash. And if you participate, then you get something that helps you build your stash further. So they do, there's usually a theme or a certain goal or inspiration that you use to do the stash challenge. And then for each week that you participate, this is the traditional stash challenge. They did do a little bit different one with the Name Your Orphan, but that was kind of a one-off kind of thing. But for each week that you participate, they put an appropriate item in your party bag, as in participation bag, and also party. And when you next, after you've completed that stash challenge, when you next place an order with them, they'll just pop that in and ship it with your order. And if you participate and you accumulate 3 party bags, so 3 separate stash challenges, not 3 weeks in one, but 3 separate stash challenges, and you haven't placed an order yet, that's fine. They'll go ahead and mail it to you at that time. So that helps them save on shipping costs since these are free items, guys. And so I missed the first 2 weeks. I missed the first 2 weeks because I've been busy and I don't like missing it. Just one of my little personality quirks. It's bothering me. It weighs on me that I didn't participate or make something for these previous weeks. So even if by not participating during the given week, I don't get an item in my party bag, I am what in the gamer world they call a completionist. And that means that, because I've decided that, okay, I'm participating now, I am gonna do both the previous weeks and this week. And I am tonight gonna make a bracelet for each, because that's what I do. Like, I'm the person in the video game who stays in an area long past when all the quests have gone gray, which is when they don't reward as much character experience, and they have reduced like physical rewards too, just because I want to do the thing. Like, there's a thing to do, and so I'm gonna do it. It's funny. And that might be relatable to you if you play computer games. It might not. There might be another aspect in your life where this behavior that I'm describing is you. And if so, please tell me, because I'm curious about other applications. I think in terms of a gamer, because I have a lot of history with that. And so I think in those terms, but I am definitely a completionist. So now that I am participating, I'm going to tell you about this month's stash challenge, which is a dream vacation stash challenge. So each week they present a different dream vacation, and so you make something that you would wear on that vacation that is inspired by the place that you would be visiting. And for participation, they put a related item in your party bag. So for example, the first one was an African safari. And so if you participate in that, then it would be like some of the ideas or some of things like Botswana jasper, or I don't remember what other examples they gave, or like African turquoise or something like that that comes from that region or is inspired by that region. And so that's the first one, is African safari. The second one is, I don't remember if it was specific, but it's basically Italy. And so, you know, there's a ton of like Italian beads, and honestly, I don't know if I have any Italian beads. I probably do, but I don't know that because I'm still kind of new at this. And so I'm doing something that to me feels Italian and feels like something I would choose to wear if I visited there, to kind of be inspired by the culture there. And so that one is going to have some Murano glass, or, you know, just different kinds of Italian beads is what goes in the party bags for that week. So these are just examples. There's no like specific what you get for each one. And then the third week, the current week, the one I'm actually participating in on time, is Tibet. And so I had recently gotten some Dzi beads. Those are Dzi beads, which are Tibetan or Tibetan inspired beads. I don't know if they're actually from Tibet. So I'm going to make something that is themed for Tibet. So that's the rundown on what you're going to see here. And I'm going to just start with the first one. So just to kind of get it out of the way, like the tools I'm going to use is my Casual Comfort plier set for opening and closing any jump rings that I might do. I am going to be doing strung designs, so I'll be using my magical crimper and some flesh cutters. And I'm just going to show you the beading wire and elements that I'm using for each bracelet at the beginning of each bracelet's section. So for this one, I'm going to be using the antique brass color. It felt very earthy. I am going to be using, oh, and I love this. This allows me to go into my deep stash. And when I say deep stash, I'm talking, I carried this around for 30 years because I didn't know how to actually finish things that I made with beads, or how to use the appropriate materials or anything like that. And so like this bead, and it's got a wide hole, but I'm not using it in a large hole pattern. I've been carrying around for 30 years just because I liked it and I think it's pretty. So I did a Google image search, and I think that this is dragon blood jasper. If you know this stone and I am wrong, please put that in the comments, because I honestly don't know. I don't even think I knew when I got it what stone this is, but it is stone, and I'm looking forward to using it. I've got a pile of this is a combination of bone beads and wood beads. These are the ones that won't fit on leather. I've got another project planned for leather on a different video entirely, but I went ahead and pulled the ones that wouldn't fit on the leather so I could use them here. And it's okay that some of these are wood beads, because I'm also going to be using some of these beads to pull in the red. Just, there's only a few spots of the red in the stone, like there. And where did the other one go? That's the same one. Oh, there's the other one. So I've got just a couple of spots of red in this stone, but I want to pull that out. So I've got these ones. They're wood beads that have that red, but I also wanted to bring in some other stone elements. So I've got these yellow agate that I actually did get these from Gemstone Orphanage. They were in, oh, that was a broken one. I found the other half of that earlier. These are yellow agate chips. And I did get these from Gemstone Orphanage. They were part of the Dragon Vein Agate collection. And so when I got a Dragon Vein Agate as a naked baby that I won from participating in a stash challenge, I will have you know, it included these. So I wanted to bring in some of these yellow tones that are in the stone by bringing in these other warm stones here. So that's kind of what I had as a rough idea for this. For some accent, I do have these antique bronze little spacer beads. They're round, but they're kind of squared off on the edges, so they look like kind of little nuggety things, a little bit rougher look on the strand. So I'm going to use some of those occasionally as spacers. And then I'm going to finish with an antique bronze toggle clasp. Again, that's a very simple design that I feel like will go with the rest of all of this. So I am going to just start stringing it on my spool. That's something that I do when I'm not exactly sure on my pattern, and I want to make sure that I have enough room to move my design around. until I get it done. So I always start with the middle of my bracelet, the focal. So oh, I did not check that hole. Hold on. Oh, surely I don't have a blocked hole. Okay, the beading wire is not going to get through there. Let me get some of my 20 gauge wire. We were playing with that earlier. Where did it go? My husband was in here trying to help me clear some other holes. There it is. And so I have this length of 20 gauge craft wire that we were using. This is terrible because this was my whole idea. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna mess with this and I will be back either with this stone or its replacement. I'll be back soon. Guys, I am so disappointed. I could not get that hole cleared. In fact, one of the things that I was using, I stepped it up and used something else my husband had tried using earlier. I was like, oh, maybe this will be effective. I broke it off inside the stone. So I will not be using that, what I believe was Dragon's Blood Jasper for this one. I could do a substitute. I did find this. Trying to get the light where this shows you. Let me try zooming in instead of holding it closer just so I can get more of the light on it. It's just really, really kind of dim. It is darker on the screen. Oh, there we go. See that? It's darker on the screen than it is in person. It's got kind of this bluish green tone and some of the warmer kind of caramel colors. I did an image search of this one. It looks like it's also some type of jasper. And it's pretty, possibly Willow Creek jasper. Some of the results said that. Again, I don't know. If you know this stone, tell me. But it's pretty, but I don't know that it necessarily goes with what else I'm doing here. And not every bracelet needs to have a focal thing. And I think I have enough going on with these things. I can create a bracelet that still feels appropriate for a safari without having to completely redo everything in my design because the stone I was going to use isn't going to work. So I think that instead of using the replacement, I did say I'd be back with a replacement. I think instead of doing that, I'm going to just create a pattern with these guys here. So let me set that guy aside. And I'm just going to work from one end to the other since this is just going to be a bracelet that has just different elements to it. And I'm just kind of stringing them on, getting an idea what I like. I might do... Actually, let me do one of these guys. And they're all different widths, all of these little heishe. Some of them are more rondelles, just different feels to them. And I want to see if I like this pattern and if this is what I want to repeat. It has a lot of the natural elements with an occasional bronze to separate it. And I think I might like it. You hold this against the dish. That seems to work better sometimes so that we can block out the background guys. Something like this, so that like the red right up against the yellow will sometimes bring out some of the yellow. I don't know that I like this particular chip because it feels like it's very much on an edge, and I want the more yellow, brightly colored stones in here. So that they're not washed out by the other guys. I just swapped my chip on that one. Yeah, see, I like that better. I like that better. So I'm just going to repeat that pattern a little bit and see if it gives me the feel that I want for this. So, again, yes, I'm disappointed. I really liked that stone. And I guess that's what happens when you carry something around for 30 years and don't use it. It might not even work. It might not be a functional thing. Let me separate out some of the ones. It's not necessarily the ones that I necessarily need them to be yellow. I do like the yellow. That's why I'm picking it for a lot of these, but also like the richer pigmentation. Some of these ones that have a little bit more of that kind of caramely color to them. But I will swap them out if I don't like the placement of the hole for this purpose. So we're going to focus on these guys. This is the pile of who I'll try first to get what I'm looking for. So there's some variation within that. Where did that just go? Okay. I just don't want it to feel like it hangs too much, like the part of the stone that you see is, or the part of the stone that would be face up is hidden because it's under the wire, is what I'm kind of trying to avoid. Oh, and I forgot a red one. Ah, that's where that one went. He went and hung out in my pile of red beads. I have a lot of these red beads. I like, again, I don't know where I got them. I don't know much about them. I just know that they're in my stash. And apparently I'm using more of the wood rather than the bone on this lighter to kind of tan colored. Yeah, I'm liking this, guys. So I'm probably going to focus on those instead of working in the bone ones. I think I'll have enough for the bracelet. I do have some more up here. The ones that are more like a... And these ones, the thing is, when you wear this, these ones will naturally kind of, as they absorb oils from the skin and things like that, they'll start to look more weathered, this wood. So I think it's fine. All right, let's try this chip that went flying. Yep. Actually, I'm starting to near the center of the bracelet. I'm going to work in some of these that have some of the more robust coloring. Oh, come on. I know you have a hole because you had one when I gotcha. Maybe. There it is. Oh no, not another hole that is stuck. I think this was on a strand. It might have been in a bag. This might have been a bagged item. There we go. I got it on. Except I forgot my red rondelle again. Because I'm going the natural wood tone to red. If I try to go in one direction, the hole doesn't want to work. If I go in the other direction, it's fine, which is fine. It must have a little lip that it's catching on the other side, and that's okay. See, I'm doing some of these larger ones that have more color in them. As I near closer to the center of the bracelet. Yeah, I think I'm still happy with this. I think I'm still happy with this. I will get that other, one of the tools that I need to get is a bead reamer, so that I can ream out holes that are blocked or not drilled through all the way. And I will get that done, and I will end up using it because it's a really pretty stone that I liked well enough to carry it around for a long time. So I noticed that I'm going for the lighter colored wood ones in the natural tone, but I'm going for the darker among the red, which is interesting. That's just what I'm naturally grabbing. And I think that it's working for this bracelet. It's really working for that bracelet. So yeah, I just realized I have... hang on, I will be right back. I think I need to adjust a brightness setting on my phone. Normally I can see how bright things are and what color they are, but I had my lighting turned down for another reason. I'm going to adjust that real quick and be right back. Okay, so I got it adjusted so that my screen appears brighter to me so I can better check this. I'm going to check the first part of what I've already recorded today, and if it is too low, I'm going to go ahead and brighten that up in editing so that it matches this content. But this, at least to me, looks a lot clearer and brighter than what we had before. And holding it against the dish, you can see where I'm going with that. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I have an approximate, I have a mark for about how long I like to wear my bracelets on my mat, since I mean, these beads have a decent diameter, but they're not really chunky diameter. So I'm going to have at least about 3 centimeters for my clasp and the loops to make them. I'm going to make this strung length to be about 16 centimeters. And I am currently at 9.5. So I'm continuing on. Oh, one of these repeats, let me find out how long one of these repeats is. And they change because the different widths of these beads, the different size of the chips, but approximately one repeat is 2 centimeters. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats. So it's got to be 2 and a little bit more then. Yeah, just over 2. So if I'm going for 16 and I've got at least 2 repeats, and then I'm going to check. I might do something like additional of these bronze spacers towards the end, or something just to finish it off. But that's roughly the length that I'm going for, guys. On this bracelet. Oh, I did it again. Why do I keep doing that, friends? How many of you saw me do it? I keep wanting to but I specifically chose putting the red wood beads on either side of the yellow agate chips, so that their color would play off of each other. I did that on purpose. So I don't know why I'm being silly and not putting them on in the right order, but apparently I am. And again, some of these are just a little bit thicker than others, and that's okay. It's okay to be a bit thick, guys. I want to do, that one looks nice. Even after I said it, I did it again. I did it again, guys. Like, I'm trying to step up the color instead of giving it that break that is actually what I'm intending. Like, my brain is trying to do something else entirely. I better check that just to make sure that I haven't, because I've caught myself several times. Let me just make sure that I haven't forgotten that. I think we're getting close to the right length. Let me measure this. We're at 15 centimeters. So yes, friends, if I'm going to go for 16 centimeters, let's see if I want to add. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 of these bronze or antique brass spacer beads on. So instead of just 1 on the end, I'm going to have 3, a repeat of 3. And I know I've got a lot on my mat right now, but this is kind of what I've got right now. I think that's looking pretty good. I like it. I like it. I'm going to go ahead and crimp one side. If I need to restring things to add a little bit more, then I will, but it's just, no, I'm going to do the good girl thing and get out one of my bead stoppers so that I can cut the other side and actually test the length after I add the other beads, so that I don't have to redo the whole thing, because guess what? I am making 3 bracelets tonight. I'm doing like a mini bracelet bash. Becky does anywhere from like 6 to 8 bracelets on her bracelet bashes, and here I am. I'm gonna do 3. So I'm just gonna add a couple more. I think ending with 3 on each side. Oh my gosh, guys, that's perfect. That's right at 16. Okay, that was a good estimate. That was a good estimate. So since the other side is stopped, I'm going to go ahead and do this crimp. I'm going to use a gold crimp. I think that's going to play well with the yellow agate that we got, and I don't have antique brass crimps. I use 2x2 crimp tubes. These are from Softflex. they're really good crimps for using with the magical crimper because they've got a really good wall on them. So I'm just putting the crimp tube onto my wire, folding it over and running it back through that crimp tube. And let me move some of these beads out of the way so it stops trying to focus on them. That's a important thing. I will do the actual cleanup later, but this way they'll at least be off the screen. They're out of sight. Okay, so we should stay focused on this a little bit better. All right, I'm just going to run that back through, and I am pulling, since this is the first crimp that I'm doing, I'm getting it through enough that I have a little bit of a tail. If you want to run that back through other beads, you can. That's entirely up to you. I have a tendency to prefer to clip mine off because if my strand loosens at all, I can't stand a tail coming loose, and keeping a tail is not required for doing this kind of crimp. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here. I am going to use jump rings to attach. So I'm making this a fairly small loop. This is a 2x2 crimp tube. It is the only kind that works with the magical crimper. The magical crimper also uses 0.018 to 0.011 wire. The medium soft flicks is 0.019, so it's perfect for that. It's really important, like I said, to make sure you have a decent wall on your crimp and that it is a seamless tube. Because if there's a seam, it's just going to crumple. If it's a thin wall, it's just going to crumple. It's super important that you get your crimp tube centered inside your magical crimper. There's this spherical concavity on both sides. So, you know, to make a ball, make sure that it's centered and then just give it a little squish. And if you've done it right, then it pinches down these four corners of your crimp tube so it looks like a tiny ravioli or a pillow, like a throw pillow you put on your couch. And then you take it and rotate it 90 degrees from where you were so it's straight up and down inside your magical crimper. Again, make sure that it's centered and give it another squish. And now it's started the process of turning it into a ball. So you're going to want to open the pliers a little bit and rotate your crimp tube around until you don't have any more resistance. It should just take a few, but I always go a couple extra just to be sure. And what you're left with is a smooth little ball that holds really well, and you just don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and snip off my excess wire right here. Let the beads fall all the way to the end so that they're snug against this crimp tube. And I'm just going to repeat the process on this other side. I am making 3 bracelets tonight, so I am only describing what I'm doing the one time. Both crimps, because there is a couple of adjustments that you make when you're doing your last crimp on a piece. But then I am still going to show you when I do it on the other bracelets. So just, again, you're going to put the crimp tube on, feed that back through, pull this crimp tube close to your last bead, and stick your fingernail between it and the last bead while you tug the tail to get the size loop that you want. Now what this is doing, oh, and make sure that you've got a little bit of curl to your bracelet. See what's happening with some of these chips because they're so irregular. I kind of like it. I think it's fun. What you're doing is you're getting the crimp close so that you don't have a whole lot of slack aside from what you need to get your bracelet to curl before you finish your crimp, but you're also getting a little bit of space so that you have room to work your crimping pliers. This is especially important if you have any kind of gemstone, crystal, or seed bead right up against the crimp tube because they're so easy to crush. You don't want to do that. This is a metal spacer bead, so I'm not as worried about the spacer bead, but I still want to get a good crimp. So I need to have room to center the crimp tube. So I've got it centered, but also that I've got clearance beside that bead so that I can do the little squeeze. And now this time I didn't pull it out and show you the ravioli because I know it's there. I found that for me, as I was learning how to use the magical crimper, it's a lot easier for me to make sure that I stay centered, because it's not just starting it that you have to stay centered. It's when you're making the whole crimp. It's a lot easier for me if I don't keep removing it. I just keep it in that little divot, and it makes the crimp. So let's get my jump rings out. That's these guys. And I'm just going to get a couple of small jump rings. I don't need them to be big. I just need them to work. And I'm going to use them to attach this clasp and get this bracelet done. I'm so excited. I hope I made this a good length. I think I did. I think I did. Okay. It might be a little bit snug. We'll see. If it is, guess what? I can always add jump rings. I'd rather make a bracelet like this where I know how to attach. And this is also why I didn't attach the clasp directly to the loop that I just made, is because I want to be able to adjust it. Whether it's because it changed, you know, our bodies change. Maybe my body will change and I'll want it to fit a different way, or someone else will want to wear this and they want it to fit a different way. Maybe we swap out the toggle clasp for a lobster claw and a extender chain, so that, you know, someone else can wear it and not worry about what size it is. So this leaves it available for me to customize. There we go. Now it's clicked in. It leaves it available for me to customize it as needed, because I didn't attach it directly. I don't have to restring the whole thing to change the clasp. For whatever reason, I might want to do that. So it does mean that when I'm figuring the length that I need for clasping, I do need to account for the space to attach that, the space that the jump ring takes, because it does take a little bit of space. But this should fit pretty good. And it's a nice chunky lobster clasp with a long bar. So, not lobster clasp, toggle. So that is it on my wrist. I do like it to fit a little bit looser, but I'll add some jump rings later to accommodate that. This definitely fit enough to get on, and it was easy for me to put on. So I will be right back with our next bracelet. Okay, I am back for bracelet number 2. And this one, honestly, it started with these guys. These, again, were from my deep stash. So I've been carrying these around for maybe not quite 30 years. I had gotten some really pretty pink beads at one point to make some breast cancer things for my mom. So this is probably closer to 20 years, maybe even a little bit less, because I was like, I'm going to pick up beading again. And I went nowhere with it. I had grand ideas. I did nothing. Now these look like they have foil in the middle. At first I thought it was like dichrotic glass, but I don't think it actually is. I think this is foil that they have made the bead around. And so I think it's really pretty. I think it's really pretty. And like I said, it's probably not Italian, but it makes me feel that way. And I love the shine and shimmer to it. And so I'm going to be using silver for this. In fact, I'm going to be using the 925 Extreme Flex Silver in medium, because it's got the same kind of shiny iridescence that you get from inside this bead. So anywhere that this wire shows, it's going to feel like it belongs with these beads. Now, what I'm going to do with the beads, we're going to have to wait and see what feels good on the strand, because I have ideas. One of the things that I did is I did pull in, these are from Gemstone Orphanage. These were actually garnet chip beads that were part of the Becky box. So my first subscription was in March that I picked up. But prior to that, my first bead box that I bought because I wanted to support my sister and not because I was actually like, yeah, I'm going to do this, was I think in February. So like the month before, probably what led me to start thinking, okay, maybe I actually want to do this, is when they had the Becky box. It was a naked baby collection, and you picked your gemstone, and when you bought it, you paid an extra little amount to get the dress-up bag that goes with it. And this was in the dress-up bag, these little garnet chips. And I think I like the idea of using this really organic and darker shape to help ground whatever we do with these beads. I might hate it. We'll see. Also in that box, though, were these genuine rubies. And I do only have, I think there's 8. Yeah, there's 8 of these guys, and they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I thought they might be finally time to use these. I've been hanging on to them. They're a little bit less red and more like magenta toned. And so I think they might be pretty with these beads. So I don't know if I'm going to be using these or if I'm going to use the chips, or maybe I'll use a combination of both. But I do think that I want to use silver accents. And so I've looked at a couple of, I'm probably leaning towards these kind of lantern shaped spacers. Oops, get that ruby moved off to the side. Because they're a brighter silver than my other options. These other ones are a little bit more antique-y. I do want something that has some shape to it, not just a plain round spacer. I've also got these, like, they're kind of daisy spacers. They're dotted and stuff. It hasn't been opened. I'll open that in a minute. Or I might even go for something larger and more ornate, although this doesn't necessarily have the Italian feel that I was wanting to do, because this is supposed to be inspired by Italy, or something that I would like to wear if I took a vacation to Italy. So again, I don't know if this is Italian glass. It's probably not, but it gives me that kind of old world Italian feel with these soft pink colors. And so we're going to see what we like on the strand and go from there. I am leaning towards these as spacers, but I am going to check out the other ones if I don't quite like what I'm doing. And then again, I'm going to be using these as little accent beads. And this one it's not going to have a focal stone. This one I wasn't planning on one to begin with, so there's nothing to be disappointed with there. I do want to point out, I'm not sure exactly how long the video is at this point, but I am making 3 bracelets today. So if this bracelet is too long for automatic translation, which basically an hour mark is what I'm looking for, if it's too long and I don't have automatic translation for our international friends, I apologize now. I would like to do that, but I also want to make sure that I complete showing you what I'm making. And I am figuring some of this out as I go. So I'm not sure how I want to start and stop this. Usually I start with some spacer beads, and I think that I am going to do so with this one. You know what? Because I kind of want a center, maybe I will actually start in the center though. So let's say I have kind of a center section. So I have a ruby, one of these guys, because I'll just butt right up against it. Or do I want spacers between to give it that little bit of space? Another option, guys, would be to use seed beads for a little bit of a shimmer that doesn't actually take up much space but gives you great bead separation. I think that this is too close a size. I don't want the rubies to get lost. So let me grab in my seed beads real quick. I think I have a pretty option. Okay, I picked out a couple of seed beads to try. I've got these that are kind of just a frosted matte white. I thought they might give some of the space that we need without drawing a whole lot of attention. Or to replace the kind of silver that I got, that sparkle, I have these silver lined beads. They're kind of a gray with a silver lining, but they're very, like, they'll shine on the side that is through. So I'm gonna spill out a little bit of each of these and see what I like best, because the more I look at this, the more I know I want to use the rubies. I'm not sure yet on the garnet. Maybe I'll use a combination of these seed beads. Let's see. So let's try the silver lined first. These just look like they're either delicas or Tohos. These ones are super tiny, but they'll work. So if I put on a few of these, I already like this better than the larger spacer bead that I was originally going to do. I can tell already that this is letting those little rubies pop where they are. I'm going to put on just a couple more, and then we'll take a look at it on the dish so that we can see what this looks like. And I'm actually going to transition at this. I'm going to do half of it is going to have the silver, and then I'll put on a few with these white ones. Oh, I'm leaning towards the silver. I can already tell, but I'm going to show you anyway. These white ones just get lost, and I don't think that they necessarily, all they do is add space. Like, that is literally all that they do. Which is sometimes what you're looking for, but it just feels a little bit like a void. So let's get this dish here. Okay, so on the left, I've got the silver line seed beads, and on the right, with this ruby, I have the little frosty white ones. And I don't like those as much. So I'm going to go ahead and take off, starting with the frosty white ones, and continue stringing my pattern with the rubies and my pretty pink beads. And let's get these guys scooped up. You can just use the lid of your vial to scoop them up. That's an easy thing to do. Oh, forgot one. All right, back to stringing. So a little bit of designing as we go. That is one of the things it's just part of my creative process. I need to see how it looks on the strand before I really commit to it. Like, I have ideas. I know which ones I want to play with, but this is playing with your beads. And that's why, like, at the end of every one of my videos, I'm always telling you, don't forget to play, because it's important to have that. Play is where you find what you like best. Play is where you come up with new ideas. So it is a part of my design process. These Tohos are so tiny, they almost get lost in the beads, but they don't quite. So we get that little bit of suspension, that little bit of flash of silver between each, and that's making me really happy, friends. It is making me really happy. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to use all of my rubies. Like I said, there are 8 of them. So that means if I have one on either side, we're going to have 7 of these beads in the middle. We'll see how long that is and decide what we're going to put on either end of them. So I say we as if you're helping me, but you know what? By me talking to you, that does help me. It helps me process. And maybe one of the ideas that I think of and reject might be perfect for something that you're doing. So working through that process with you does not hurt anybody. It can only help. There's going to be something where those little frosted white beads are like the perfect solution. Just not this. Just not this. It's also possible that rather than just 7 of these pink beads, it's 9 of the pink beads, and the rubies themselves are that focal area, because even though they're tiny, oops, I forgot a seed bead. Shoot, I just lost one of my rubies. I just lost a ruby. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did not lose a ruby. If I lost anything, it was just a seed bead. I'm fine. I'm fine. I thought I lost a ruby. I have 8. There are 7 currently on my strand, and I have one right here. I thought I had one that just went flying. Whew, guys, that had me panic a little bit. Okay. So ruby to ruby. Gosh, guys, I'm liking this a lot. I'm liking this a lot. That is almost 12 centimeters, which when I have a seed bead on either side, that will be 12 centimeters. One of these beads, this is a 10 millimeter bead. I don't have calipers. It looks like it's a little bit more than that. Hold on, I have a tape measure here that has that a little bit more graduated. Yeah. So if I put this bead here, is it 10 or is it 12? It's more than 10. I think that's 12. So these guys are 12. And if I am currently at 12 centimeters and I need 16, then I need a seed bead on either side, separated by seed beads, maybe 2 more of these. So let's get this side, I think, done. For the clasp on this one, I am considering just doing a simple lobster claw. I'm kind of sad I didn't use any of the garnet because those would have been really pretty, but I think that I like this better. It's elegant. And I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Is it Italian? I don't know. Does it make me happy? Yeah. And then a seed bead. So I'm going to have a seed bead on either end. See what this is. See if this is doing what I want. We're going to have a series of seed beads on either end, at least 3, possibly more, but we're going to do what we did on the other one. We're going to clip this. I'm going to make the other side match, see where we are, and adjust each end as necessary, either putting things on or taking them off. But guys, I think that's so pretty. Okay, I like this. I like this. I'm gonna, if I have a little extra, that's fine. I don't mind having extra. I'd rather make sure I have enough. Okay, setting aside the beading wire, and then adding on a seed bead and another pink guy, and then 3 more seed beads. Again, I'm looking for roughly 16 centimeters. I'm not sure what that is on inches. My my mat is in centimeters, so that's what I've got my markings as. So, okay, that is only 15. So I need more seed beads, but not enough to add a whole other pink bead. So this is complete. From this pink bead to this pink bead, what I'm doing now is adding seed beads until I'm more where I want to be. So I've got 3 on here already. I'm adding another 4 to one side and 4 to the other side. So I've got 7 on either side of my ends. I don't think I want to go longer than that with just these tiny seed beads because I think it might look a little wimpy, but I think that's, gosh guys, that is just about perfect. Okay, so the clasp I was thinking of using is a little bit smaller than what we were just doing on the other bracelet, but I could change my mind. I could use, this is what I was thinking of doing, was just a simple lobster claw. That would make Chrissy happy. My friend Chrissy loves the smaller closures. I could also do a larger lobster claw, possibly this one with the heart and a little bit of scroll work. That feels like it fits the tone of this. And then it would just loop into either the soft flex itself looped on that side, or, like I said, this takes a little bit more room than this. So it's more what I need if I'm matching it up with what I'd done previously. Yeah, it is more what I need with room to crimp and a jump ring on either side. And I would just do a large jump ring. This is, I think this is an 8mm jump ring. It might be 10. That it could easily fit through on the other side. That kind of mirrors the size of these guys. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. This one will be an 8. Okay, let's crimp this, and like I said, I will add other jump rings as necessary. I do need to grab a small one here for the lobster claw, but I will just do a small one. Okay, crimps first. As I said earlier, I'm not going to be talking you through the magical crimper this time that I use it, but I am going to show you, in case that repetition of watching how I do it when I'm not stopping to explain helps. It might. Like I said, most important things are the quality of the crimps and making sure you're centered and taking the time to make sure that it is fully rounded and not just a couple of quick squishes. It does take a little bit more time than other types of crimps because of that, but I think it works well. So I'm just going to, those are just the things to remember as you, if you try out the magical crimper and want to learn how to use it. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself time. And do it until it's done. I've fixed bad crimps because I just kept going. It doesn't always work, but it can. It looked a little funny, so I just went back in for a little bit more. Perfect example of when, okay, it just needs a little bit more of a tweak. Just keep going. All right, and then slide that down. And we're doing this other one. And like I am going to go ahead and point it out because, like I said, this time I am right up against these seed beads, see? And so I really want to make sure that I'm not crunching those seed beads because they're taking up space on my wire. And I just, as much as this is a pretty wire, if I don't have to have wire exposed looking janky, then I don't want it. So I'm just keeping my thumb here as I tighten. Make sure that it's as snug as possible, but also room to work. And before I press down on my crimp, I just am going to make sure that that seed bead is clear. See, it's clear. It's close, but it is clear. And it's funny because there's seed beads here, they twist so easily that normally I can hold on to the bead and twist it and get it to where I can just do that little bit of repositioning. It's just a little bit trickier with the seed beads. So I do have a little bit of exposed here, but like I said, I wanted it to coil. So I think that is going to work out just fine. And now I'm just going to be opening jump rings and putting them on. So start with this guy that's just easy. We're just attaching one end of the bracelet and making sure that it is fully closed. And then we've got this guy, and I've got this lobster claw here because I was showing it to you. The other one was up in my channel so I could see how much space it took. I almost put on the wrong lobster claw. I'm like, this is going to be too small. No, it's not going to be too small because I got the lobster claw I picked that has that little bit of a romantic swirl on it. Maybe a little bit big for this design. And you might have chosen a different one. You might have more choices in your stash than I do as well. But let me go ahead and swap bracelets, taking this one off. Because this one with the lobster claw, I definitely want to work this mechanism with my right hand. So I did not want it to be, I did not want to try to put it on my right wrist because that would have taken forever and been very difficult. This is where I might consider doing a charm if this is tricky, but I was gonna try not to. I just need another hand. So my sister has a video where she makes a bracelet assist tool, and she made me one of those. I don't know where it is. So I might need to, oh no. Oh gosh. Okay, the bracelet went down and beads flew, and I was worried that my crimp failed. No, friends. No, friends, my crimp didn't fail. My bracelet just flailed itself into the pile of seed beads. That's all. That's all. The bracelet's fine. The seed beads are not so much. Okay, I want to show you what it looks like on, but I'm going to give it one more try because I don't have the bracelet assist tool and I didn't put a charm on. I don't really want to add a charm. Not for this. Here we go. And that fits how I like, where you can rotate it around the wrist, but it's not super loose. It's certainly not going to roll off. I'm not losing this bracelet, which is good because it's ruby. And look how pretty that is. It's delicate and bold at the same time. And for some reason that feels Italian to me. Like, this feels nice. Does it fit? I don't know. But again, completionist in me, I am making a bracelet inspired by what I would like to wear on an Italian vacation. And I think that fits. So we've got Italy, we've got our African safari, and I've got one more bracelet I'm going to make, guys. So I will be right back with the materials for my last bracelet. And it is going to take a little bit of designing, but I've got some ideas already. Okay, so this is one where I'm definitely going to be designing on the strand. I have ideas. I have options that are within reach. I'm not sure if I'm going to, like, so far I changed my mind on this one and didn't have a focal bead. This one was never going to have one to start with. This is something from my deep stash. So I like the idea of pulling something from my deep stash for this. I'm not even sure what this is, but it's pretty. And I think that it goes with some of the other stones that I have pulled out for this. But a recent addition to my stash has been these Dzi-style agate beads. So this is, these were in a recent haul. In fact, I've got 3 that are the eye pattern and then one that's wavy. So this guy doesn't even match the other 2, but I could choose a group of 3 and have them be my focal area, or I can go ahead and include that one and just, you know, different is fun and unique, and do this one. And then I've got these Dzi-style agate as well. These are 6mm, and they have a blue-green stripe to them, but they lean more blue, and it's this really pretty, like, cornflower blue that I think is just so pretty. And so I want to use these in this pattern. It's got these kind of rusty tones, so I'm going to go for copper if I add any metals. And I do kind of feel like I should add some metals. Like, that feels like that's part of Tibetan jewelry. Usually it's really bright colors, but what I'm working with here is a more neutral palette. There's a lot of turquoise and coral and I think lapis. And so there's a lot of really bright colors. In fact, you look at pictures of traditional Tibetan jewelry and it is big, heavy jewelry, like layers and layers and layers. So you can't go too big on this. And one of the things that I wanted to add possibly was some of these bell-shape copper findings. They have little flower patterns on them, which don't necessarily fit the style, but that bell shape to me has that kind of feel to it. I also have these ones that look like coiled rope or coiled wire that could be used as spacers as well. And then I also have these that have a little bit more of a pattern on them. And so I'm going to be probably trying a series of these. I have these cornflower colored dyed agate over here that match the same blue that's in here if I want to pull in more of the blue. And so, yeah, I think I'm just going to play. I do want to include at least these beads, probably these beads. I might leave this out and move this one out. And then I've got the 3 here, or have the one that is different be the center. I like that idea. I think. See, this has a thicker pattern. This is a better color match, but I think I like the one with the thicker pattern. So maybe I do these, leave out the stone for a center, and go from there. So yeah, I'm making more noise because I'm wearing both my bracelets right now. So here's week 1 that I missed. Here's week 2 that I missed. And now we're making week 3. Stash challenge. And while I'm kind of playing with this, I'll be talking about it, but I also want to tell you about some of the stuff that's coming up with the Gemstone Orphanage because there's a lot of cool stuff. First off, you're going to see something from me very soon with the new subscription box. The October box is all sold out, but on a video that's coming soon, I will give you the entire lowdown on where to go to sign up and the dates required to sign up by in order to get the December box as your next one. It is bi-monthly, so it's not a monthly subscription, it's a bi-monthly subscription, so it comes every 2 months, and I love it, and I'm really excited that they've decided to do their subscription service again with a few little tweaks, and that I get to be part of it because I'm doing beading now. I'm going to use the tanzanite color. It, again, matches that kind of cornflower blue that I've got going on in these beads. I'm just going to start stringing it and see what it feels like. So I'm going to pull off some of these. My knot at the end is small enough that they're coming loose. So I'm just pulling them off that end. Because why not? Take off a few of those. But anyway, so that is coming up very soon. So you're going to see a video from me probably early next week. And I'm excited to share that with you. But even sooner than that, on Saturday, so mark your calendar at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you're in the East Coast, that's at noon. Central Time, that's 11. Mountain Time, 10. And Pacific at 9 a.m. They're going to be releasing the tween box. So one of the things that they do sometimes is they make a box to go between the subscription months. So the first month for the subscription is October, and so they're releasing this one in September, and it is trick-or-treat themed. It's a cute little trick-or-treat. I think it said that it was black and white agate, I want to say. I don't remember. But they're going to release the details of that tween box on Saturday at that time. You're going to want to follow Homestrung Jewelry. That's the YouTube channel for the folks over at Gemstone Orphanage, Debbie and Steve Caldwell. You're going to want to follow Homestrung Jewelry. The link will be below. And they're going to release when they do that. I'm also going to have a link to the store, and I'm going to update both of those links as soon as I have them to go directly to the release video and the listing on their store. So that will get updated. But I'm excited because I want to get that box. I think it's like black and white with purple accents, and it's just really fun. And all of the details will be in their release. But also, I do not have my notes right in front of me. I want to say it was $29.95 plus shipping and handling. And it includes the dress-up bag. Normally you buy the box and then you add on for the dress-up bag. That's the treat. The trick is there's only a few. So you want to make sure that if you're interested in that you are paying attention come Saturday morning. So we've got that coming up, and I'm excited. And I was supposed to be stringing while I talked about that, but I just talked because I got excited. Because I am. Okay, so I'm just going to start playing with some of these ideas. Like, do I want just one of these between each of these Dzi agate? I feel like that's not enough space. Oh my gosh, I checked holes. I swear I did. I checked holes. Guys, what is it with me and holes today? I cannot get a bead reamer soon enough. Okay, let me check the other guys. That is the wavy one, so it may just be that we don't use the wavy one. Yep, I can get these other ones onto my string. So one option is to do just this for the center. And I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that. The other option would be to give it more space by putting in some of these other copper beads. And I chose copper because, like I said, the coppery tone on these striped agate style. Hold on, what if I did this? Hold on. I'm playing because why? That's how we come up with fun things. So here's another option that puts in a little bit of that copper and spreads these other guys out a bit. Okay, so from like this, if we wanted to spread them out. But I'm kind of thinking I want this to be a chonky guy. So I'm going to take those out. I'm probably not going to use those copper spacers. I'm going to use copper bells at the end. I want to use them. They're really big holes on this side, so I can't do this and the crimp right there. I will have to put another bead there, but I can put one of these on the outside end so that they're near the end, but not quite the end. I also have these beads in a smaller size. So if I want to do these cornflower agate, like the dyed agate back here, I want to say those are banded agate, dyed banded agate. You can see some of the banding in it. Yeah, these are dyed banded. Banded. Okay, moving this out of the way. So if I'm not going to do that, maybe what I do, I'm going to get the bluest of these guys for more of the center. Like the more pronounced blue, the better. Because again, color. All the pictures that I looked at, they had so much color. So what if I did one of those in between the Dzi-style beads? So I have that same space, but it's chonky space instead of thin space because I'm adding in these 8mm banded agate. So it's going to be more like this. Yes, I needed to add color. And not just have these kind of rusty coppery tones. Definitely needed to do that. So I'm putting the most colorful ones in the middle of this design. Like this. Yes. And then we'll continue by doing this, but I'm going to group, I'm going to do a little bit different pattern where I group like 3 of these striped guys and then another blue. And measuring from the middle of that center bead. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for clasp. This clasp is going to be a little bit smaller. So I think that this right here is the appropriate end to this side. Because I am just going to do a copper lobster claw and ring. I don't have a lot of great choices in copper for clasps. But I think that this is going to be right for what I want to do. So let me get the other side caught up. Get this. Just so we don't lose our stuff. And I like that copper bell at the end. Like I said, I can't end with that, so I have to put a bead there. I like the striped bead, but let me just grab one of these 6mm of the banded that's the same color. I might like that better. And it's just because I need something so that my crimp doesn't get swallowed by that, the end of that bell. I think I do. I think I like the blue better. So I'm going to keep this little blue out, this 6mm one. And I'm actually going to swap out that striped guy because I have more vibrant colors and I want to do, like I said, I'm going for the vibrant colors in this. So I want to draw them out. Copper bell, and then another banded agate, but the smaller sized one. Guys, I love this. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. And the tanzanite is perfect for this. I mean, I love the tanzanite anyway. It's so pretty. It's the blue version of fluorite for me, let's be honest. And then I'm going to need at least that much space on the other side. I always give myself a little bit of a margin. I do not mind having a bit of wire at the end. Okay. So then I am just repeating the same pattern that I did over here, where I did the blue and then 3 stripes. Let me get our brighter stripes. I've got more on the strand. Let me pull off a few. Yeah, I like that guy. Okay, that one's also good. Let's do that one. Okay, just to get, you know, color, color, color. I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Again, it may not be super accurate, but it's supposed to be inspired by, and I think I kind of managed that. Like, this feels like I could wear this on a safari, and I could wear this in Italy, and maybe this in Asia, you know? I'm liking it. I am liking it. Okay, getting out let me check my length again. Make sure I haven't overshot it. Not if I'm just doing the smaller lobster claw. Like, I'm keeping my clasp pretty simple on this, and I don't know that I could shorten it and still keep what I want to do with it. This is currently 16 centimeters, or sorry, 18 centimeters. I need a total of 20, and my lobster claw that I'm going to use and the ring, if attached with very small jump rings, is going to be about 20 centimeters. But these are also chunkier beads. So I think this is actually going to be perfect. I need to get one of the bracelet mandrels that Heather over at TT's Trinkets and Treasures sells, because, yeah, I make bracelets. So I need to get one of those. I just haven't yet. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. I have been wanting to use these bells. I got them because they're cute and they're nickel free, and I have been wanting to use them, and I didn't really have anything that felt like they fit, but I feel like they fit. Like, how is that for a bracelet, guys? I love that. That's so fun. Okay. Actually doing the clasping now. Actually doing the clasping. Not the clasping, the crimping. Crimping first, then clasping. I'm going to start with this side because I've already got the bead stopper on the other side. And just making sure I've got a little bit of it curled so that I don't have a stiff bracelet. Now, these are copper crimp tubes. They have the thickest wall out of all of them. So sometimes they're a little bit more difficult to get the wire back through. It does fit. You just have to kind of get it through a little bit. But it's also, because it is the thickest wall, it also makes a really great crimp, because it just, the more meat you have for your ravioli, whether it's wire or crimp wall, the better it is. So these ones are really good, and very forgiving as you're learning how to do the crimps. Plus they're copper and cute. I think it's pretty. And you just twist it until you don't feel that resistance anymore. And I think I've already got it, but just making sure. We've got our little copper crimp tube. Okay, sliding my beads down to that end and doing this side. I guess I curled it too soon. This is the side that I need to make sure that it's curls because I had plenty of room. Yeah, this is a little bit long. That's okay. I will put this in my scrap wire. This is going to have enough left in it that maybe it'll be part of an earring at some point or some other thing. Again, getting that crimp bead or crimp tube as close to that last bead as possible, but making sure that I've got some space. And I am making my loops very small because I just need to attach some small jump rings to them. And this is stone, but it's not a small stone. I'm a little bit less worried about cracking it, but I do want, like I said, some space to work my crimper. And I do have space, so just doing the thing. And I love it that like this beading wire looks so good in the little bits where you see it through some of the more translucent parts of this agate. I think it's fun. And one of the tips, if you look at it, like I try not to pull it away because I'm trying to keep it centered, but if you pull it away and you look and you're like, that doesn't look round, it looks like elongated one direction, then just put it back in your pliers and make sure that that elongated section is going straight up and down and crimp again. So it's one of the things that you can do is like, okay, what doesn't look right about this? And then just put it in a position to squish the appropriate direction. All right, and then we've got jump rings. I just need some little guys. Those are not my littlest ones. I do have some little ones in here though. Just have to get to them. There they are. Oh, I need one little one and one kind of normal size because I need to be able to fit that hook through it. Yeah, so this one's going to be a little bit looser. That's okay. I don't mind a little bit jangly bracelet. So I didn't want to take out any of these beads. I guess I could have narrowed these and just put 2, but I like 3. We'll see. If I hate it, if it's just way too loose, if I'm in danger of having it slip off my wrist, then I will fix it. And yes, guys, this is definitely longer than an hour. I hope you've enjoyed it though. Oh, this jump ring is quite a bit over. Okay, there we go. Do this, and then this, and then close it. Just make sure that your jump ring closes all the way and that your ends match up. And then attach the slightly larger jump ring. So this is probably a 6mm, pretty close, that I'm gonna fit through this. The other guy was, I think, was about a 4. And again, just make sure that it is all the way closed so that your beading wire doesn't work its way loose. No losing your bracelet. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to do a lobster claw on my other hand because I think that these two stack better between the two. Like, these actually look pretty cool together. And I want to put all 3 of my bracelets on. Oh, but I have to do it the other way. Hold on. Because again, I'm not used to using my left hand. Okay, come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. That is the sound of my other bracelet dragging on my desk. Sorry. So I don't know how long you guys want to watch me fiddle with this. I'm going to try one more time. And if I can't get it, I'm just going to put it on. It's not going to look as pretty, but I want to check the fit. I am right-handed. There's a reason I put the fiddly bit so that I can do things with my right hand. Okay, so this is definitely looser. I think it is going to be good for stacking. It is not going to roll off my wrist. So it's just a little bit looser. That's not too bad. But let's go ahead and move these beads out of the way and check out all of the beads I just made for my stash challenge over at Gemstone Orphanage. And it's not done. The month is still going. There's going to be a new location that I believe will be posted on Sunday. It's either Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to have a link to the Facebook group in the description. Again, along with Homestring Jewelry's YouTube channel and their store, so that you can watch for the tween box, the trick-or-treat tween box. But we've got bracelet number 1 that I am doing, or no, this is one that I was late. I was late. I might not get credit for this, but that's okay because I know I did it. I know I did it. And then bracelet number 2. So this is the African Safari. Here is Italy. It may have been a specific place in Italy, but I don't remember. But here's Italy. Just charming and romantic. This is, to me, a very romantic bracelet, and so it feels appropriate for Italy. I mean, Rome, romantic, same root. And then here is my Tibetan offering, and this one I am completing in time for that part of the stash challenge. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. I don't know where 4 is going to be, but I'm going to make a bracelet for it. I'm doing bracelets all month. So all of my entries this month are going to be bracelets. I've decided that. I'm doing chain necklaces for another challenge. But for my Gemstone Orphanage stash challenge in their Facebook group, I'm doing bracelets and I'm liking them. I think these turned out really fun. And like I said, these two, they actually like stack together really nice. They're different metals, they're different colors, but guys, they look good. Those like earthy tones, the chunkier beads, I could totally wear those together. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I had fun. I am really glad that I did this. The completionist in me is pretty happy that I am no longer behind on the stash challenge. Whether I get credit or not for these guys, I'm not behind because I'm on time for this. And I'm not leaving anything undone on this. And that satisfies me. So anyway, I hope that you have had a good time with this. And that if you're not already subscribed to our channel, that you go ahead and hit like on this video, ring the bell when you subscribe so that you know when we have new videos, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these guys. And if you know some of the answers to questions that I asked, like that stone that I really want to clear out the hole, and I am determined to clear out the hole. Is this dragon blood jasper? I think it is. But you might know better than I do. And here's where I got something stuck in it. Whoops. Definitely going to be clearing this hole because I want to make something with this. It's just too cool not to. Anyway, tangent. I hope that you have a great time and that you decide to get out beads from your stash, whether they're beads that you've had hanging around for 30 years or 20 years, or that you just added to your stash. And find some time and play. Bye.